Hey everyone, welcome back with Being Omak to a new review series. This time, instead of wrestling games, I'm going to review Tekken 4 for the PlayStation 2. It has a negative reputation in the community and is one of the worst selling in the series, almost killing off the franchise at the time. That said, we're going to figure out if that's the full story here. So without further ado, let's get started. When you boot up the game, we get this pretty cool intro cinematic. It's been 20 years since Heihachi defeated his son Kazuya and threw him into an active volcano. It's not that unusual in Tekken though. After the third tournament, Heihachi has his forces invade the G Corporation in order to get data and or DNA on the Devil Jin. They find more that they bargained for as the man who made the deal with the devil himself, Kazuya, is apparently alive and well. Kazuya single-handedly puts an end to Heihachi's raid and lets Heihachi know that he is coming for him and it's only a matter of time before the two meet in combat once again. Other than the story intro, we also see glimpses of new characters like Steve Fox, the boxing middleweight champ on the run from the Mafia after refusing to take a dive, Christy Montero, who is the successor to Eddie Gordo from Tekken 3. She's pretty much just eye candy, but she is on the lookout for Eddie as well. Finally, we see Craig Murdoch rotting in prison after accidentally killing Armor King in a bar fight. The intro does a great job of showing off all the elements of this next generation game. Once on the main menus, you are greeted with a plethora of options. Something that stands out is the lack of music. A lot of others like this since it has an unsettling vibe that fits with the rest of the game, but I personally would have preferred some music. As far as some game modes go, we have Story Battle, which is where most of the single player content is unlocked. Arcade, which is pointless as it's just a worse version of Story Battle. There is Time Attack along with Versus Battles, Team Battle, Survival, Practice, Training, Tekken Force, Options, and the Theater mode. Lots of different ways to play and customize your experience here, and you would find a lot of this kind of variety in games before online became the main focus of most games. Starting with Story Battle, you choose a fighter, and then we get a narration of their purpose for entering the tournament. Tekken 4 does an amazing job of giving everyone a purpose for fighting and treats almost all characters with proper respect so that you can be properly invested in their motives. After completing the story, we see an ending specific to each character. There are a lot more realistic goals and struggles these fighters face compared to other entries in the series, but there is still that over-the-top aspect in each story. Martial Law is facing financial difficulties after a failing restaurant stint. Hwaorang escapes his duties in the military to get another shot at facing his rival Jin Kazama. Julia Chang wants to help restore and save the forest from corporate greed. Everyone has a purpose, and very few lead to joke endings. It's a different kind of atmosphere compared to other titles. Even the areas we fight in are pretty generic, really, but they do have a charm. It also helps that most areas are absolutely gigantic. There's the mall, beach, rooftops, forest, city block, and more. Some more outrageous stages are the claustrophobic laboratory, the arena, Hanmaru, and airport. Each song sticks out and helps build the atmosphere of each stage. The laboratory song used to terrify me as a kid. It's spooky and uncomfortable. The airport theme, on the other hand, is jovial and upbeat. The city arena theme is jazzy and fits the nightlife vibe they were going for. The rooftop theme is unlike any fighting game theme I've ever heard. It's dismal and gray, like the area you battle in. The variety here is unmatched in my opinion. Some stages are so huge that there's multiple areas you can start the fight in. It's really impressive as there are layers to most levels as well. You can fight upstairs or on top of glass panels that stick out. Most players hated the elevation feature, however, so it hasn't come back in other titles. Walls are also something that can be used to your advantage here, as you can slam opponents against them and crush them with combos, and same goes with areas like the parking garage that has a roof that you can bounce opponents off of. Players were also not very fond of this at the time, but walls have been a consistent part of the Tekken games since. Addressing the roster, it's much smaller than you'd think. We have 19 selectable fighters ranging from series veterans to the relatively new. This game marks Kazuya's return after his defeat at the end of the second game. He shares the spotlight with Jin as the co-protagonist while also being the co-antagonist with Heihachi. You start with 10 of these fighters, and every time you complete a new story, you unlock a new character. Some fighters also unlock stages like Steve Fox, who unlocks the statue stage. The smaller roster may have also been an issue with many players at the time, since Tekken 3 had around 23 fighters and the side series spin-off Tekken Tag Tournament had an impressive 32. We still get heavy hitters in the series though, such as Yoshimitsu, King, Martial Law, Kuma, Paul Phoenix, Brian Fury, Lee Chaolan, Nina Williams, and more staples of the series. It's a halfway decent roster, but truthfully it does seem dull in comparison to future titles. That isn't a totally bad thing, as the point of sequels is to be better than the games before it, but even the pre-mentioned Tekken 3 and Tekken Tag have better rosters in my opinion. That said, as with all Tekken games, each fighter offers a completely unique look, fighting style, and story, so you can't say the characters aren't distinct. Moving on to the other modes though, there is Arcade, which is just a generic version of story. No unlockables, no stats, no purpose really. Time Attack is cool if you want to test yourself and beat the game in the fastest time. If you do well enough, you can rank in and check out the top scores in the options menu. Versus is pretty self-explanatory. Team Battle allows players to choose up to 8 fighters and duke it out against another team in one-on-one battles. You can play with a friend or a CPU. After each fight, you move on to the next fighter in line until one team is completely wiped out. Survival is the final challenge mode. You have 1 health bar, best as many foes in 1-round battles as you can until you bite the dust. It's definitely a rough time. The best I can do is like 8 since it ramps up in difficulty very quickly. Practice mode allows you to, well, practice the moves in a safe space of your choosing. You can record combos and preview any move to help figure out the timing. Tekken has always definitely had the best practice modes I've played in a game. Training is where you pick a champion and must do 20 pre-assigned moves as fast as possible. It's an okay way to start learning some techniques of fighters you'd like to try out, but there's a good reason it never returned. It just isn't necessary, and only gives you a rough idea of what to expect from a fighter. Finally, we have a complete side mode called Tekken Force. This returns from Tekken 3 but is a million times better. It's essentially a beat 'em up with 4 stages. It can be pretty tough, especially by the 4th stage. You battle through countless enemies on each stage until you reach a boss. All the stages are unique but are based off of stages in the normal game. There's the lab, based off of the laboratory, with Combat as the boss. Then there's the forest with either Kuma or Panda. The 3rd stage is the only one that doesn't seem to have a stage based off of it. It's just called the Corridor and features Kazuya's followers. Kazuya, of course, is the boss here. Finally, you have Hanmaru, which has Heihachi Mishima in an honestly annoying final fight. Overall, it's a solid addition to the game, and you have to complete it to unlock the Hanmaru stage. The other modes available are options, which holds the previously mentioned records mode. You can also record fights and save them to your memory card. Then in the theater you can listen to any song in the game, watch endings you've unlocked, or the fights you've saved, which is pretty impressive for the time. All in all, I believe Tekken 4 is an underrated gem. I can understand the love for the other titles like Tekken 3, Tekken 5, or Tekken 7, but I don't think this game is as bad as the others say. Yeah, it isn't as competitive as the others. The story is more dismal than the over-the-top games, but it's a more than solid entry that has been getting its fair share of love in recent times. That's because there is a great game with an impressive story to tell here. Gamers just weren't ready for it at the time, I suppose. Either way, you guys let me know what you think down below in the comments. Is this game an underrated gem, or a worthless piece of trash? No matter the opinion, just explain your reasoning. If enjoyed and want to see more, like and subscribe to me, Beano Mac. Ring the bell to be notified of future content and reviews. Above all else though, please remember to have a nice day.